In my last few seconds, just for the record, Mr. Chair, would just like to manifest that what is clear to me so far is that many things are not clear. And it also seems that many powerful forces are at play. Bakit po may discrepancy sa issue ng paano nalaman ng Executive Secretary ang SO4?
Kaya yung binigay mo yung galing
Maliit
sa
na bagay.
Chinese. Kasi,
Maliit na bagay.
Hindi, nasa ano,
I think
Nasa
there's
baba.
one mic,
Oh, sige, bakit?
Mr. Chair.
Senator Amy, I think you should unmute.
Salamat, Mr. Chair. Maliit na bagay,
You should
no?
mute, you
Yung
should mute.
maliit na bagay, sasabihin nyo yung discrepancy sa issue ng paano nalaman ni ES. Pero it shows lack of candor, which hearings like these expect. What is the ES hiding? What information doesn't he want the public to know? Also, why all these raids or visits on bodegas, tapos malalaman in the end, the import permits are in order and the mission is terminated? Who is feeding the president or Malacanang wrong information? Is the executive secretary feeding the president wrong information? Is the president caught in the crosshairs of opposing camps? Di kaya usapin lang ito ng nag-aaway na mga kampo, Mr. Chair, with some groups wanting to change the leadership of the SRA or limit the number of importers to a select few. Hindi ba trabaho ng ES na protektahan ang Pangulo? Hindi ba dapat gatekeepers sila of these competing interests so the president can make policy decisions unfettered by political considerations? Kaya kailangan po talaga makarating si ES sa ating pagdinig, Mr. Chair. Salamat po, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Senator Hontiveros.
I wish I could have one whole day to explain to my colleagues the intricacies of the sugar industry. Yung sinasabi po ni, with due respect to our dear colleague in the minority, Senator Risa Hontiveros, malalim yung usapin nitong sugar industry na ito. In good times, nagkakawatak-watak sila because kanya-kanyang income yung millers, kanya-kanyang income yung planters, yung traders, etc., etc. In bad times, they come together, they call themselves the Sugar Alliance. When taxation is upon them, may sugary tax and sweetener tax and all that, then we unite. No, unfortunately, those are the only times that they unite when there's a problem with the industry. Today, there is a problem with the industry because there are claims of low supply of sugar, which is conflicting by different organizations. The farmers will always err on the side of I would say conservative importation. Kasi syempre, pag nag-import kayo ng import, alam naman po natin sa sibuyas, sa kamatis, sa iba't ibang produkto, gulay, pag nag-import tayo ng import, galunggong, babagsak ang presyo ng importation, ay ng presyo ng locally produced natin na produkto. Now, when we talk about federations, your honors, talagang may nag-aaway-aaway dyan. That's a normal federations and planters groups, nag-aaway-aaway. So let's filter that out. Let's take out the noise. But before Senator Risa leaves, I know she leaves, with due respect to my dear Deputy Minority Leader, I truly believe that the President is doing a great job in terms of looking at the needs of the farmers, ang kapakanan ng ating mga magsasaka. Kaya nga pinigil nga niya yung importation kasi gusto niya malaman ano talaga ang halaga na kailangan i-import at hindi lang palaging import lang ng import. So I want to put that on record. I feel that he's done the best job so far in the last how many years I've been here in the Senate in terms of handling this issue. And he's been calling meetings in Malacanang with different stakeholders to come up with a win-win solution. In fairness to him, to come up with a win-win solution. Now, one of the stakeholders' meetings, even Mr. Lobrigat was there and he was present, representing the PSMA. What is clear here is that those stakeholders' meetings were not considered coming out with SO number 4. We did not have, and it was clear, we did not have those meetings, and it was clear also that the workers' unions were not informed, the planters, the millers, wala po nun. They're coming up with a number given several months ago, January. The situation January is different from the situation today. So definitely a stakeholders meeting was needed to come up with such a large amount of importation. Second, on the issue of ES Vic Rodriguez, let's let him answer your questions when he comes on the next meeting. Ang akin lang, let us look at possible solutions to this perennial problem of sugar shortage. Last year, my dear colleagues, and you all know that we were hit bad by 2 typhoons, particularly in the sugar area, producing areas. One was, of course, Typhoon Odette, and the other one was Typhoon Agaton, which hit us and basically inundated many sugar areas. So that's why we have a shortage for this year. But normally, maliit lang po yung shortfall. But this last administration of the SRA, your honors, has had the penchant of wanting to import and import at the detriment of our small farmers. Kaya, we have to make sure that the importation is legal, that the importation is above board, and that the importation is necessary. Kaya natutuwa po ako na nandito po ang ating Bureau of Customs. The raids, with due respect to Ma'am Risa, I'm in favor of those raids. Why? Because I would like to always err on the side of government when it comes to anti-hoarding, when it comes to anti-smuggling. Because if they show the papers, they have nothing to be afraid. Di ba? You always say that eh. Tayo mga politiko, we're willing to sign bank secrecy laws. Because kung wala naman tayong tinatago, huwag tayong matakot. So, ang gusto po natin mangyari, ito mga importers, traders, yung mga bodegas, pati mga sugar mills, it's not considered a raid. It's an inspection. It's not, you can look at it that way. It's an inspection or a raid. Under the law, SRA has the power to inspect all these bodegas. Under Republic Act 10845, that is the Anti-Agricultural Smuggling Act, the BOC and other government agencies have the power, okay, to visit and inspect traders and importers of agricultural products. And let me quote, rice, sugar, corn, pork, poultry, garlic, onions, carrots, fish, cruciferous vegetables. This is the first time I've heard there was cruciferous vegetables in its raw state or have undergone simple process of preparation and preservation. Nasa batas po yan. Hindi po illegal ang ginagawa po nilang inspection. Kasi para malaman po natin, mga kababayan na nakikinig po na yun, kung yan po ay hino-hoard for price manipulation o kung yan po ay illegally smuggled into the country. Kaya, tama po yun. Yung nangyari sa Thailand, kung may papeles po yan, di magpaliwanag po sila. Pagkatapos nun, release po yung produkto. Pero ang importante dito na yun, mga kababayan, my dear colleagues, is that if there are, and I was interviewed, as a matter of fact, I'm maliciously being implicated to the sugar in the Bukidnon raids. I do not plant sugar, and my uncle, Tito Pablo Lobrigat, will confirm, I do not plant sugar. I don't have a single bag of sugar there because I no longer am involved with sugar. And my participation is to protect the small farmers and Bukidnon. And you can confirm this, former Administrator Serafica or Mr. Lobrigat. Bukidnon is the second largest producer of sugar in the country next to Negros Occidental. Kaya maingay ako dito kasi pinaglalaban ko ang malilit namin na magsasaka sa Bukidnon na may 1 hectare, 2 hectares lamang na agrarian reform beneficiaries. Kasi sila po ang kawawa pag nagkaroon po ng price manipulation, hoarding, or smuggling. Let us stop right now the black propaganda against one federation over another. I think tigil na natin yan. Let us come up with a solution to correct the mistakes of the past on the sugar importations that we have done, if there were any, and come up with a long-term plan to really help not only the farmers but also the millers. For example, let us help Crystal Milling come up with their own refinery instead of tolling to another refinery, or other companies in Negros that have no refineries. In Brazil and in India, all the sugar mills, almost all of them have their own refineries. Para sa ganun, yung raw sugar pwede nang ibenta as bottle-grade refined sugar. Hindi na natin kailangan mag-import. So yun lang po, Mr. Chairman, and I really appreciate the participation of all the sugar stakeholders. I believe Mr. Lobrigat would like to be recognized.
So, Brigat, new arrivals here, I'd like to recognize the presence of former Speaker of the House, Senator Alan Peter Cayetano.
Very good.
What would be the essence of your additional statement, Mr. Lubregat?
I would just like to agree and support our Senate President for new solutions to all our problems. I would just like to reiterate what I wanted to say in the Congress, which is the big problem that we have today is the weather. If you look at the news today, they say in Spain they are going to produce 50% less olive oil this year. If you remember, Indonesia stopped the export of palm oil for a while because everybody, when push comes to shove, they will keep their production for themselves. And it's very important to discuss the self-sufficiency that the country must try to attain in every crop. I have some proposals that I would like to discuss with you guys in private, but that's for another day. Thank you.
We note that. Thank you, Mr. Lubregat. We recognize likewise the arrival of our Minority Leader, Senator Pimentel. Next to ask question would be...
Mr. Chairman,
yes.
before you recognize somebody, may I be excused from the meeting? You know that Secretary Manalo is coming over this afternoon to meet the members of the Senate and hopefully ask for his help for his Commission on Appointments hearing on Wednesday. May I be excused, sir?
Yes, Your Honor, but can I also be excused in that meeting? Because I will be
Yes, Your Honor.
continuing with these
Mr. Chairman,
meetings.
before the Senate President leaves, and I'd like to congratulate him for his privileged speech and bringing this up. Just before this, Senator Padilla brought up a very, very, very good point because SRA is a GOCC. So, ang kailangan ma-appoint dyan from a short list from the GCG. Maybe through the Senate President, we can also make a representation na hindi muna ipapadala ng GCG yung kanilang short list sa Malacanang nang hindi na co-consult yung stakeholders.
Actually, the new appointments were endorsed by several stakeholders. Not all, kasi as I mentioned in the beginning of my speech, the sugar industry is made up of many players, no?
But yun po, sir, ang
Opo.
point ni Senator Padilla.
Yes.
Mukhang illegal yung ibang appointment sa ngayon kasi hindi pa nagsasubmit ang GCG ng shortlist. So, panay acting lang sila.
Okay.
Because under the GCG law. So, I'm happy that Malacanang, as a fact, consulted the stakeholders. But wala sa law ng GCG to consult the stakeholders. But baka through your leadership, that's something we can change.
But I'll promise you that each group will give out their own name. each federation and plant association will give their own names. Kaya in the end, the president will eventually have to
Yes.
decide.
But more or less, the job naman ng GCGs, pag binigay nila yung shortlist, ipapakita lang sa association na wala silang, na walang kumbaga may veto power sila.
Oo.
Na wala doon na tulisan, to put it that
Yeah,
way. di ba?
definitely.
Oo.
I totally agree. And we've been doing that. As a matter of fact, that's why they met with the president. The different stakeholders met with the president. And Mr. Lobregat was there in the meeting in Malacanang.
Yeah, I'm
to
talking in
discuss
general, Mr. Senate President, kasi like, as we investigated last Congress, di ba? Ang
Yes.
PhilHealth, dumaan lahat ng GCG yan. Pero kita naman natin yung dami ng scam
Oo nga.
sa PhilHealth. Maybe because hindi rin nakonsulta ang mga doctors, nurses association, mga health insurance. So I'm not talking about this administration specifically.
Yes.
But in general, it might be a good idea. So anyway, I'd like to thank Chairman
Thank you
Tolentino
for the
and the
information.
Senate President.
For the Senate President leaves, can I